But we can, move on now to the actual playoff game with Hartford.
I don't want to.
So you can see our tones sort of dip here. It was a tough week, dude. It was a tough week, even leading up to this game. I did have some expectations that, I don't know, at the very least, maybe we would win. I would love to see. I think that's where I would consider the Jaidi season like an extreme success, was getting at least one playoff win.
Yeah.
Definitely pushing that home field was huge. I mean, that alone is that's an accolade in itself. But I will say, leading up to it, it started to seem a little bit rougher, like when Tyreek Johnson got recalled.
Yeah.
I think that was 3 days before, and that's a player that has started 100% of the games for us. Maybe.
Yeah, he's a huge player for us.
Into the second half of the season.
I didn't realize he was so young.
Yeah, he started every game, so to lose that part, and I mean, he was really somebody who had an impact. We knew that was sort of a knockback that would have an effect ultimately.
Yeah, especially when you're planning for a game.
Yeah,
with your guys, and then all of a sudden, but you can't knock Southampton for doing it. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, that's a 21-year-old English prospect, and if you know anything about Southampton, they pump out top players from their team. So
you trying to say Tyreek is the new Bale? Just asking.
Or Van Dijk or Sterling.
Yeah,
or
I just figured the winger,
the
winger angle, the dude that's pacey. They're sort of
any of the guys that you can list from that originated in Southampton.
Yeah, but I mean, in general with the game, it was a loss in general is tough, but to lose that way, even being so close to extra time and then ultimately maybe penalties, and to have it, I think it was in the 93rd minute out of 4 minutes of stoppage. Right. It was like, wow, super deflating.
Yeah, it's super deflating, and it makes me think of that question when we were looking at the Excel sheet of awards.
Yeah.
For everybody, and they basically had one on there that said grade the manager. Mm-hmm. And I think he did very, very well with what he had, but at the end of the day, for me it's a B rating, because of the talent that we're playing throughout the year was not that high.
Yeah.
So the expectations, while we went in low, we should have known hey, these are lower tier teams that we're playing.
Right. Yeah.
So we should be getting these results. And so I'm more grading him on the tough games, and I think he gets a B for that.
Yeah.
Because he got results, when we needed them. Got the River Hounds result, got us home field, but ultimately in the end, we need to be progressing past, the early stages of playoffs.
Yeah, definitely needing, like I said, at least one playoff win, probably almost boost that to an A.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and then especially if we go out in that second game and we don't even really need to win it, but if we are putting up a fight, then that's more or less an A rating. Yeah. I think another question on there was what was the most important result of the season. We both agreed that it was probably that 1-0 against the Riverhounds.
Yeah.
And we talked in depth about that when it happened, but for us to be able to reteach ourselves that when it matters we can win a game, despite knowing what happened in the playoff game now, despite all the awful calls that were in the playoff game, but it is what it is with that.
Refs have torn New York City and Hartford to shreds.
Torn our hearts out repeatedly. But I wasn't trying to really bring that up too much, but we do have to take note. There are some awful calls in that game. But yeah, that was probably the most important result of the year that Riverhounds won.
Yeah. I all I can say is I agree.
Yeah. I mean, to sum up, not only the podcast, not only sum up the podcast or the episode at least, not the whole podcast.
Yeah, no, we're staying.
Yeah, we're here just because Hartford's gone. We still have New York. But to sum up the episode and sum up Hartford's season more or less, it's been a great year. I think another thing that I had tweeted the morning after the playoff game was, if you were to approach us at the end of last season when we were, the worst team in the league, like more or less the worst team in the league, and tell us that we would first seed into a home playoff game at Dillon in front of all the fans, we would have been more than happy to take that fate.
I laughed at you.
Yeah, but we would have been more than happy to take that fate. So
for sure,
it's going to be exciting to see Jaidi hopefully have a regular season, a whole year to sort of express himself and his tactics with the team. And I don't know, maybe after a full year he might not be with us anymore, but this is just all speculation because this
maybe by the start of next season I'll learn how to say his name so I don't have to call him the manager.
Yeah.
But we're getting there.
Yeah. And I think all around, even the front office did an amazing job with some of their pickups between, working Hack into coming, who ended up being a big part. Cohen was a huge part.
Yeah.
You said from that Google Docs,
Mandanda.
the best, to bring in Mandanda, who saved us on a number of occasions from some bad results. So all around, whether it's the performance of the players, the business of the front office, and the workings of the manager, they kind of hit it on the head perfectly. All year,
I'm
everywhere.
excited for next season.
Yeah, me too.
And hopefully it's it's a normal format. It's not like the
all this weird stuff
thing that they did this year. Hopefully we can get back to normal.
Yeah.
Because I definitely want to get to some Hartford games. I want to get to some New York City games. And I don't want to have to wear a mask while I'm eating pizza and drinking beer.
Yeah.
So like
sounds good.
Yeah.